I talk more about the Tangle class? Yes, I can. Laurie, you absolutely must have been reading my mind just right then. So, August 8th, let's see, what day is that going to be? That is going to be Thursday next week, I think. August 8th, we are launching MEL's Tangle Club, and it is inspired by Tangle. So, give you a little bit of history on this. I've had Tangle books on my bookshelf for a decade, and I've kind of opened them up and flipped through them, but I've never ever gotten the pen and a piece of paper out and actually started drawing anything, which is like, well, I have the book sitting on your bookshelf. I don't know if anybody else can relate to that. Kind of you're aware of something and you're interested enough to go and buy a book and then nothing. Anyway, last year for the Digitizing Design Masterclass Plus, my good friend Minette Ridden came and did a session for the class, and it was actually based on watercolor painting. You might be wondering, why in the world is a Digitizing and Design class doing watercolor painting? But it was part of the design experience and looking at life a little bit differently, because in machine embroidery, we're always looking at the solid edges. And I was like, what happens if you blur the edges just a little bit as you do in a watercolor painting? So she came and she gave us a lesson on how to do watercolor painting, and she ended it by doing some Tangle on the watercolor painting to add a bit of detail. And I sat there tangling along with her as she is telling us about how to do this. I'm like, wow, this is so cool. And I had this thought go through my mind as well. Very well, I can do this just fine with Minette guiding us and showing us the different patterns, but how in the world do you do this without Minette on the end of a Zoom call? And so it kind of went by the wayside. And then earlier this year, right around Mother's Day, Minette had a Mother's Day sale, and I wound up looking at her website, and she had a beginning Tangle class, and I thought, you know what, I am in that. I want to do this. I want to figure this out. And I spent an entire weekend with a pen and actually pieces of paper back then drawing these Tangle designs, and I got so hooked, it was ridiculous. I think there's probably been, only since Mother's Day to now, there's probably only been 5 days when I haven't gotten a pen and a piece of paper out and done some Tangle drawing. What I found as I was sitting there drawing was my mind was visualizing all of these patterns. And Tangle is basically, it's a method that was created by Rick and Maria, and for the life of me, their last names have Maria Thomas and Rick. Anyway, they created this technique, and it's a method of structured drawing, and it essentially is you can create the most beautiful patterns using C shapes, S shapes, I guess straight lines and little circles. And just the most amazing patterns. And the method itself is about how to create the patterns. And I'm drawing the patterns, and I'm seeing these converting into embroidery designs in my mind. And my mind is going, okay, this is how you draw it. How do you actually go about creating this so you can stitch it on an embroidery machine? And there's not a one-to-one correspondence going on here. So I started experimenting, and I completely fell in love with the whole Tangle concept and figuring out how to convert it so that we can use them or use the designs as embroidery designs. So MEL's Tangle Club is all about looking at patterns and figuring out how we can use them in our embroidery designs. So there are so many possibilities. We are starting on August 8th. That's when we go live. August 8th is an 888 day. I don't know if you've seen what's going on in the world about the Lionsgate portal. It's apparently a very, very, what would be the right word? It's a very important, strong portal for opening your creativity. So I feel, you know what, this is a beautiful day to start MEL's Tangle Club. I think we will really expand our creativity together. What I find when you guys merge your minds with my mind, I think amazing things happen. We've noticed this in the Digitizing and Design Masterclass, as that has happened. Auspicious, Bryony, thank you. Yes, that is a very good word. It also happens to be the day before my birthday. So I figured what better time to start having some fun. So it is going to be a ton of fun. We're going to meet on a monthly basis. Each month you will receive some new patterns to play with, new patterns and motifs, dozens of different ways to combine these things as lines, as fills. There are 2 levels. MEL's Tangle Club, the basic layer, is playing with the designs as they are. MEL's Tangle Club Plus is playing with the designs as they are, and we'll have an extra monthly meeting where I will show you how I created the embroidery designs, the embroidery version of these patterns, so that you can create your own variations on them. And let me tell you, I am having to put a timeout on how many variations I'm coming up with for some of these patterns, because I seriously, you know, could spend days and days just playing with one different pattern. So I think we're just really going to have some fun and create some amazing patterns and do some extraordinary things with our machine embroidery. So one thing that actually I've also been finding is, I don't know, let me just pop, I want to see a hands up here. Who loves to digitize and gets a kick out of digitizing, and you don't necessarily need to go to the embroidery machine and stitch it? Anybody else like that? Yep. So MEL's Tangle Club is definitely for you as well. If you love to just play with pretty patterns and have the, to some extent, intellectual, creative experience without the need to go to your embroidery machine. But if you do actually love to stitch them out, we're going to be creating some really special designs as well. So let me know if you have any more questions on that, Laurie. Marilyn said, this happens with fabric too. I think I love it, think I will use it, and then it sits on a shelf. Yep. I think you're not the only one there. Betsy said, I've done Zentangle for years, have hand trimmer, so not doing so much now. Interested in what you're offering. Yes, you know, Betsy, if you can utilize your mouse, then that will allow you to bring I think that will really allow you to use the software to do the digitizing and have the fun with the patterns that maybe you can't do when you're actually holding a pen. So